Hello everyone and welcome to the next Dragoonster16 video. So it feels like I've not done much just in terms of describing, but I think I've actually done quite a bit. So first of all, the box of the mounted kernels is now unsurprisingly empty because they're here. I've painted the Scotsman's horse with a grey because I think he might just want to pretend he's part of the Scots Greys, although he's got the wrong hat for it. We've got I think I'm going to paint him as a Hanoverian fellow to go with our Hanoverians, and then we've got a random English dude. Well, a random British fellow. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be. Haven't decided. We've got the British and the Hanoverian line. They're all in their nice red coats. Plus, they've got their grey trousers, and the two kind of officers here, let's bring them to the front, have got their grey overcoats on. So a decent wedge of painting done this week. I mean, admittedly, it's a lot of paint, but it's very easy to describe. I've also decided what I'm going to do with this fellow. I'm not going to paint him in red for the infantry. I'm going to paint him with a dark blue and have him be an artillery commander. It means that at some point I'm going to have to get more artillery, but we'll work on that. So I'm thinking of actually lining this up with the lining that up with when I paint these guys with their cuffs and their facings, and I'm going to, I think, make them the 8th King's Own for a Liverpool set. The Liverpool Regiment, so that means their cuffs and collars are going to be blue, that dark blue, so I'll use that on the artillery. Similarly, I'm going to have these guys be the 7th Hanoverian, because then I'm going to be using the dark green for their cuffs, and then I'm going to use that on the Jaegers over there, our skirmish troops. So that'll be something interesting to think about. And that's basically it. It's one of those things where I've basically been spending more time painting this week, but as a very quick kind of thing to talk about, there's not much else to really say. Because the thing, I think at some point I'm going to have to assemble these guys, the Hanoverian and the British line that I've got over here, because just with the PVA glue, I like having the windows open to have some ventilation, and it's currently November and it's going to get a lot colder, so I might get those done over the week. Get these boxes glued up and done, and then probably have to think about where I'm going to put them because we're running out of space on the cutting board. But that should be a decent. That should mean that I'll actually have all the British assembled, and then it's just going to be painting it over the winter. Maybe not, hopefully not that long. And then we can finally get sorted on the French once I've purchased everything for them. I'm working on plans for that. I know some places have got some deals going on or referral systems they're starting up, so I might be able to get things slightly cheaper. That is admittedly ignoring eBay, but that's having an effect on my plans because I'm kind of planning. My plan is still to have Britain, France, Russia, Prussia, and Austria as like the top 5 nations in the Napoleonic era, and have like a starter army for like 90-100 quid. Because all of this British stuff, if I half the cost of the Waterloo set, came out 99, I think. So I'm trying to make them all kind of roughly like 90 something ish, just shy of the 100, so that they're all going to cost roughly the amount. Because clearly in miniature gaming, when you spend the same amount of money on 2 different armies, they're going to be roughly equivalent in power level, aren't they? Pause for laughter. And so they're all going to be roughly the same amount. Now, the only difference is the British didn't have that much. I didn't spend that much time thinking about the British units and the units British price for that. So the British may well be the worst army because I've not actually sat down and thought about it. and I randomly bought these, and maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I should have done something else with the money. I think that was 20. I think that was 16. He says, looking at the price sticker that's still on it. So there's £36 of stuff that could have gone somewhere else. It could have gone to a cavalry box that might have actually been better for kind of an army list. But here we are. I managed to sneak an extra unit out with my Jaegers. So by getting these guys for the command, so that could be quite good. But the other ones are kind of better planned. Although kind of finding a deal which kind of lowers a few things price by like a couple of pounds has slightly messed with some of the things. But we'll have a look. Yeah, actually there's Warlords coming out with some black powder deals, but the black powder one from the Napoleonic includes the Waterloo set, which I already have, and the British set there's a British Crimean set, but that is which you can kind of just get away with the uniforms, but that's an extra two British line units, one Hanoverian. No, not one Hanoverian. One Highlander, begins with an H, and an artillery set with a later uniform than this. So I don't think that would fit, but the infantry could fit. But I already have enough. I've got 3 British infantry and a 4th in a box, so I don't think I need more British infantry. Then there's the Russians, and they're kind of the opposite of the British. The Russian Crimean is like the opposite of the British. You can probably get away with the artillery, but the Russian infantry wear Pickelhaubers, so they're the kind of helmets with a point on. And they came in about 1840s, so they wouldn't really fit too much, which is a bit frustrating. So those deals aren't good for me, but if you want to get into the kind of Napoleonic era and kind of follow along, then the black powder one with the Waterloo set's quite good. It gives you the rules, it gives you some dice, it gives you 2 British infantry, 1 Hanoverian. You don't get any of the command, so if you then added command to it, you could get this. They then give you another box of the British line, so that's another one. It gives you British cavalry, and the French have their 2 line that they get in the box, plus an extra one. They get the cavalry in the box, and they're given an artillery piece. So it's a lot of infantry, so I don't think I need it for that. Also, though, I'd be duplicating. So another reason I'm not too fond of it is I'd be duplicating the officers. So I've got one British officer that looks like this, and I then have his twin. And similarly, there's a French officer who's somewhere. He won't be in the box, I don't think. He'll be in a blister pack somewhere. I should be looking through this. There he is. Here's our French fellow. Now, in theory, I could just replace them, but I don't know if the French used umbrellas that much. Let's find him. There he is. There's our French fellow. He's also wearing a bicorn, which I think the British had gotten rid of. He says, having officers with bicorns. I don't think they used them as frequently. They were a lot more used in the Peninsula campaign, I think. So I don't think. Certainly, though, they're wearing them different ways. So he's wearing it across, and they're wearing it front to back. So there's a few different things there. I think it looks like it's a good deal. I don't know if you can get it everywhere. I don't know what the postage will be like. Postage might be free, but that might just be for the UK. So there's a few options. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just kind of padding. It seems. So yes, I think, as I said, I think this week it'll be kind of assembling these guys, and then priming them. And then if I've got a bit of time towards the end of the week, probably doing some of the last touches. My thought is, originally my thought was I was gonna kind of paint them, and I was just going to paint them and do one unit versus another unit. But I might have a practice battle with multiple units, so it's actually a legal kind of army. So I'm thinking we do the British line and the artillery, so that'll take a bit of time to because I can't really. There aren't many colours that these line up with, I don't think. And then once I've got the Hanoverian, I'll pair them up with the Jaegers once everything's painted, because I think it'll look quite nice having a battle when everything's painted and on bases. Admittedly, I'm not entirely sure if the officers will be. Maybe it'll be our artillery officer and our Hanoverian gentleman, who don't quite have names. Might be good to have names. I'm thinking Duncan Munro. Actually, the artilleryman I think will be William Fowkes. I think because I had a relative in World War One. He was in the Royal Artillery. William Fowkes. He died in March 1918, I think. And I'm thinking Duncan Munro for the Scotsman, because that seems like a good, strong Scottish name. Not sure about our other officers. One being Hanoverian. He'll need a German-sounding name. I'm sure with help from the comments, I'll be able to come up with something for these people. But yes, there we go. So I think I got a decent wedge of things done, because I think I got these guys painted up, and then these guys got their trousers. Well, they got their trousers painted, and then these guys, were these red? I can't remember. It was a week ago. I can't remember. But I have been working on them all week, doing bits and pieces at different times. As I said, I think assembling this week. So another couple of line units on the mat to work on. Be interesting just to see like this army on the mat once everything's based, and just see how it works. Although I don't have any basing materials, because I'm trying to save money, and I'd rather spend the money on the models and the armies rather than on the bases. So these guys are going to have black bases, so I don't know, maybe this is Space Napoleonics. Who knows? Oh well. If you've got any thoughts for names or ideas about kind of potential battle reports, or even thoughts on kind of the armies, how I'm planning on doing the armies, please leave a comment, because that'll be helpful, because I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.